Here's the brutal truth. 57% of Gen Z want to be influencers or creators of some kind. But only 4% of all creators on the internet make any money at all. I'm not talking about full-time or becoming a millionaire. I'm talking about making their first penny online. Only 4%. And the number of people who do end up taking it full-time is a fraction of that. Over the last 3 years, I've grown my YouTube channel to over 150,000 subscribers and helped over a dozen creators to grow their YouTube channels and businesses too. So in this video, I'm gonna show you how you can do the same, even though the odds are completely stacked against you. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna share my experiences and some of the challenges that I've run into along the way and use that to teach you how you can turn YouTube into a full-time income. But before we get into it, be sure to subscribe because I've got a lot more content just like this coming very soon. If you take a look at my channel, you'll see that it was started back in March of 2015. Over 10 years ago. And currently I have around 150,000 subscribers on that channel. If you do the math, that's about 10,000 subscribers a year. That's very slow incremental growth. But the truth is, it wasn't exactly like that. I did start my channel in 2015. I posted over 100 different vlogs on that channel trying to grow some sort of an audience, but the vast majority of the videos didn't even get 100 views. Somewhere around 2020, I made the pivot to educational content, making videos for people who wanted to make content and people who wanted to edit videos, like all sorts of random little niche creation type videos. And those started to get some results. I started to see some momentum, but even with all of that in mind, you gotta remember, it reached 2022. That's 7 years of having my YouTube channel, and I had 400 subscribers to my name. Not a lot of results, despite the crazy amount of work that I'd put in. I'd probably posted over 200 videos at this point. And the fact of the matter is that throughout that time period, I wanted to give up so many times. Posting 200 videos and getting an average of 2 subscribers per video is really not that exciting. It's a long process, 7 years of focused hard work. And I'm gonna be honest, there's many periods in that 7 years where I did completely give up. I stopped posting for over a year in like 2016 or 2017. Coming into 2019, I moved to a new city, so I stopped posting for like 6 to 7 months then too. I gave up a lot. I quit a lot because I wasn't getting the results and it felt like it was a waste of my time. But for me, 2022 was a pretty pivotal year because I heard a quote that made me rethink everything. There's creators out there that grow at completely different paces. I mean, I've seen some creators that haven't even hit 1 million subs and they've been doing this for longer than me, right? And there's other creators who have been creating content for like a year and they get their first 1 million subscribers. It's a different race for every single creator. The truth is though, and this is like the biggest shift that I had in 2022, is that unless you give up, you've never truly failed. I think that's the thing, is that we assume we failed because we feel like there's no path forward, but you never know what video is going to be a catalyst that starts momentum on your channel. You never know when your audience is going to hit the tipping point that gets it to start growing after so many inputs with no results. I think there's a perception when you look at the stat, like 57% of Gen Z wants to make some sort of content, right? That it's going to be easy, that this is like an easy career field. And I think that when you watch YouTube videos, like you look at David Dobrik's vlogs, it seems easy, right? What you don't see is that for years, David Dobrik spent every single waking minute of his life filming or editing or producing a vlog, right? There was no downtime, there was no rest. It was work. It was relentless work and focus on what he wanted to achieve. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that being a YouTube creator is harder than other jobs because there's a lot of freedom. And that freedom is what makes it seem easy. And that's what makes it really gratifying. But it doesn't mean that it's inherently easy to just reach that outcome. I like to think of being a creator or an influencer or making YouTube videos kind of like being an athlete in the NBA. If you play basketball in high school, there's a less than 1% chance that you're gonna make it into the NBA. It's like the best of the best of the best up here. When you look at YouTube though, it's actually kind of similar. There's a lot of people who have YouTube channels. There's a lot of people who post content on YouTube, but most of those people never post more than one video. Most of those people never make it to 100 subscribers, and most of those people never even make it to the point where they can get monetized to start making money, let alone making a full-time living. I'm getting so excited I'm punching my mic right now. For both of those fields, whether it's playing in the NBA or becoming a YouTube creator, it requires an irrational amount of work for a ridiculous amount of time with zero results to eventually see that payoff, right? Going back to my 7 years, I like to think of that as my training period, right? That was 7 years of discovering my style, of copying so many different creators so so badly. It was kind of hilarious looking back. But those 7 years taught me how I could create my own style. They taught me the ropes of making my own videos. And by the time 2022 hit, I had something to say and I knew how to say it. I had my own style, I had my own format. And that was when things really started to take shape. That's when I was able to post a video every single day for a month because I knew what I wanted to do. But you have to put in so much work with such little results before you can reach that period. So around July of 2022 is when things changed for me significantly. I went from 300, 400 subs up to around 10,000 in 1 month. It was completely life-changing, to be honest with you. And I remember posting on Instagram and saying that it felt so strange to have this huge surge of results coming in at once. And one of my friends actually responded and said that it was basically like all of the inputs paying off at once. That I made 200 videos with no results. And then eventually there was that one video and the tipping point hit. Right? I think a lot of creators have that kind of result too, where there's all of these inputs, all of this like thankless work, I guess. And eventually you see those results. So anyways, coming back to that stat, the brutal truth that I was talking about here, 57% of Gen Z wants to become a creator, but none of them, almost none of them at least, there will be a few, almost none of them are willing to put in that much work with that little of a result. So if you want to become a YouTube creator, you want to be the person who's making a full-time income from YouTube, changing YouTube, the next MrBeast, let's say, you have to commit yourself to putting in so much work before you see any results. Earlier this week, I got an email from the guys over at Subscriber, and it was actually really interesting. Basically, what it was saying is that the first 457 videos that MrBeast posted got almost no views. There was literally almost 0 results for the amount of work that he was putting in. But then that 457th video finally did well. And then just 7 videos later, he was able to get another video that performed well. It's such a long period of time of like just trying things, seeing what would work. And then after that, you're able to repeat those results, repeat those big like growth moments again and again and again at a much faster pace. The momentum starts really slow, but once you have it, it's like crazy exponential, right? So yeah, the brutal truth, it's gonna take a lot of work, but if you're ready to commit, there's ways you can get there faster. There's ways you can speed up the process a little bit. Right now, growing a channel is a lot easier than it was a few years ago. A few years back, man, I remember that there was like such a little opportunity to see videos from smaller creators on your homepage. And now it happens every single time I sign in. So it is a lot easier to grow your own channel right now if you're just getting started. It's still gonna take a lot of work, but there's a lot more discoverability on content than there used to be. And then the last thing, by the way, is that if you use something called evergreen content, basically content that's meant to target search and also browse viewers too, but mostly like search and like viewers who are looking for a specific topic over the next few years, it allows you to start building like these huge foundations behind your channel to bring in viewership every single month and give you that momentum, that kickoff that allows you to keep growing from there. Having worked with a lot of creators and met a lot of creators over the years who are on the other side, who have grown their own channel, their own businesses, the truth is you have to put in those reps. There is that layer of like learning and growth before you can see the results. But right now, it's actually a lot, I guess, like softer of a blunt edge of like a brutal truth than it used to be. So if you're just getting started, just remember that it's going to take a little while. Stick with it. Keep your like mind focused on the end result, and it'll pay off a ton. Anyways, with that in mind, I also wanted to share something with you. Over the last few years, I've been working with multiple different creators. And the thing is that my time's pretty limited. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to help more people. I wanted to help more creators to grow their own channels. And that's why I created something called Launchpad. Launchpad is basically designed with all of the value that I've shared with creators over the last few years in one easy to access place. Pretty much you get access to weekly live streams, feedback on your content, the systems, strategies, and tools that I recommend to all the creators that I've worked with. And you can even book in one-on-one calls with me to refine your content strategy. So this is something completely brand new. I just launched it and I'd love to have you be a part of the community. And as an added bonus perk, because you'd be one of the first few members to join Launchpad, if you join and you subscribe for the full year, I'll even throw in an added 60-minute free one-on-one call fall to plan out your upcoming content going into the new year and basically just build out your growth strategy for 2026. The link for that is down below. And if you're just looking for a free community to chat with other creators, I've got that down there as well. But in the meantime, be sure to subscribe because I got more videos coming very, very soon. And check out this video where I show you how much I made from 115 million views.